G'day divers and welcome back to the channel. In today's video I'm going to be doing an unboxing of the brand new Wettie Warmaz. This is an electronic heated kidney belt that you can use under your wetsuit because it's totally waterproof, or under your dry suit to keep you nice and toasty and warm when you go out scuba diving, or when you're doing snorkeling or surfing. Anything that you like, this will keep you nice and toasty when you're in the water. If you've been a viewer of mine for quite some time, you know that I don't normally do unboxings. I'm not going to necessarily make a habit of it. I will do the unboxing quite quickly. The main reason I don't do unboxings is because I don't want to recommend anything that I haven't tried extensively. So I'm not actually going to put this video up straight as an unboxing. I'm just going to film this part first so I haven't pulled it all apart. And then I'm going to go use it extensively, and then I'll come back and I will add the second half of this video before I upload it. But that is primarily why I don't do unboxing videos, because by the time I know I like something, it's been used extensively. So I thought before I pull this apart, I will show you what you get in the box, because it was pretty impressive, and I really think I am going to like this. It only needs to work like it's advertised, and I think it's going to be great. Now, full disclosure, I'm not sponsored, I'm not paid. I paid for this. I actually saw this at the Go Dive Expo in Sydney. I was there as a customer. I'd actually submitted a photo into the Underwater Australasia competition, and I came second in that competition, so I thought I'd go along for the presentation, and I saw this at one of the stands. There was a lot of cool stuff there. If you ever got an opportunity, get along. I think this year was the second time that was on. Hopefully it'll be on again next year. But I saw this at one of the stands. I thought it was a brilliant idea. I've owned a number of heated vests over the years, and ultimately they've all failed because of wires and battery connections, and this doesn't have that. The other thing is you know, they're always vests, so you got to have a certain size. It only fits you. This is a one size fits all kidney belt that I'll show you in a minute. That means my 11-year-old can use it, my daughter can use it, my wife can use it, and that gives it a lot more versatility. Not to mention, this is half the price of heated vests. So it's very economical. I like there's no wires, and I like the fact that everybody in my family can use this, especially my 11-year-old. He loves to dive, but unfortunately, you know, our water here between sort of late April and October is just too cold for him. And, you know, as much as he can be sport and he has all his own scuba gear, including dive computers and everything like that, I'm not going to buy him a custom-made dry suit every 6 months. He's going to outgrow. So he needs to live in wetsuits. He outgrows them quick enough. And trying to get good wetsuits for kids also, when it comes to scuba diving, is quite hard. Plenty of surf-style wetsuits around, but, you know, nice, thick, warm wetsuits are pretty hard to get. And then obviously he often starts with a wetsuit that's too big, so he grows into it. Kids get cold easily, so I like the fact that I'm going to be able to give this to my son as well. So let's go through what we get through the box, and I'll talk about it as I go along. So first of all, I ordered this. It came very quickly. I've got to say that. Like I said, it comes from a company in Torquay in Victoria. It's great to see an Australian doing some innovation, and it's a beautiful box. Nice red box. Has a QR code at the front, so you can go straight to the manuals, watch them. It's not hard to know how it works, but it is there's a couple of little things worth watching. And he also has put the instructions in here anyway, explaining how it works. You then get the two heaters. Now, this is what I really liked about it. They're in this foam, so they're a bit hard to get out, but that is one of the heaters. There's no wires, there's no external anything. The whole battery, it is charged wirelessly and then heats wirelessly. So there's nothing to bend or break. There's no cables to plug in. That is a all built-in solid item. So you charge it like that without plugging anything into it. It's got nowhere to fail. That is what I really like. So you get two of those, one to stick on both of your kidneys. And then you've got the little wrist mount. The reason I like this as well, I really like this idea, although you've got to have two. This is magnetic. It's not got any external buttons. There's nowhere for it to leak. It's a magnetic switch. That is really good because I've had a lot of controllers break over the years. Then you get the wireless charging pad. So it's pretty straightforward. This charges everything. You got to actually take the strap out of the way and you take it off. It shows you in the instructions. You place that on. It takes about an hour to charge the controller. And then you can place both of your heating pads onto it. And it takes about 6 hours for that to charge from flat. Has lights. It shows you whether it's charging or not. Works really, really well. Very light and easy to take with you. These aren't very heavy either. And then you open that up. You've got this really nice kidney belt. Both the heaters slide in there. It's one size fits all. So again, that's why I like it. I'm not buying a vest that costs twice as much as this, most of them. That only fits me. That can go, I've already put it on my 11-year-old. It just wraps right around. It can just, one size. It goes from very large, and then you can just make it really nice and tight. You just put the 2 pads in there, and they sit up against your kidneys, and that's what keeps you nice and toasty and warm. The next thing you get is this is the other part of the switch. So that's the magnet. So you put one on one wrist, one on the other wrist, and then you just tap them together. It tells you how long to hold it. It lights up. It shows you colors, so you know whether it's what temperature it is, whether it's 60 degrees or lower. I love it because, again, that's just a magnet. It's not a button. There's nothing going to corrode or get exposed to water or leak. You then get a travel charger. This was a nice little feature I wasn't expecting. So it comes with multiple heads. So you've got all the ones that you need pretty much. I mean, there's a few more in the world, of course, but you've got an Australian plug, you've got the standard European plug, you've got an English plug, and you've got an American plug. So, it's already set up to go traveling. So I just find this really nice. I like the fact that everyone in the family can use it. I like the fact that it's small and it's light. I have no wires to worry about, nothing to break. I'm not trying to gently take off a vest, not to damage it. And it's half as much as all the other heated vests on the market. I think this is going to be brilliant. I will go out and test it. I will try it. I will use it a lot. Where I'm thinking about using this, I wear a dry suit and it only gets down to, sort of 10 degrees here at worst. It really is actually in the middle of the summer in the caves, because what happens here is the water in the caves are 14 to 15 degrees Celsius all year. I know that doesn't sound too cold, but when it's 30, 35, 40, 45 degrees Celsius in Australia in summer, the biggest problem I find is trying to have undergarments on out of the water where I'm not going to pass out and throw up, and then not get cold in the water. So I think with something like this, and I used to do it with another vest that no longer works, and I'm not going to name the brand. I was happy with it until it stopped working, is I would do that. So I'd use less undergarments, and then I'd switch it on for when I was underwater, and then switch it off when I was above water. Well, I'm going to use this for the same thing. It means I can have less undergarments, and then in the middle of the winter, and I'm doing a 2-hour dive off the coast, again, if I start to get cold during the dive, I just switch it on. It lasts on high for 2 hours, and then I think right down the low, it's like four hours. But he said 60 degrees, and I've already tested it. It was well over 60 degrees quite quickly, so it is nice and toasty and warm. So I'm back. I've done testing for over a month with these, and I have tested them well. I have done shore diving, boat diving, cave diving, tech diving, recreational diving, side mount diving, back mount diving, dry suit diving, freshwater diving, wetsuit diving, saltwater, boat, shore, everything. In 3 different states of Australia. My 11-year-olds use them and I've used them. So I think I've got a fairly good grasp of how well they work, and they work exactly how they're advertised and exactly how I expected them. What are the things I love the most about them? Firstly is not having to worry about them. I hated, and that's why I haven't bought a new heated vest, is every time I've had some sort of vest, got tired of worrying about, how sensitive it was. Every single one I've had issues with battery connections, wires breaking, all that sort of stuff. And maybe it's just bad luck, but it's that having to take it off carefully, fold them the right way, look after them. They're expensive. That's the thing. Like if they cost $100, I wouldn't care, but when they cost a lot of money, there's a lot of looking after them to get them to keep working well. This requires no much more looking after my fins. There is no wires. There is no connections. It is a completely sealed unit. There's no plug. There's no anything. It charges wirelessly. It's controlled wirelessly. So when I use it under my dry suit, guess how much maintenance I do? None. I get home, I put it on the wireless charger. Done. Use it under a wetsuit. I give it a quick rinse, dry it off, put it on the wireless charger. Done. There's no worrying about connections. There's no making sure it's hung properly or folded up properly or anything like that. It literally is the same sort of maintenance that my fins and my mask get. Quick rinse, put away, dry. You know, I take it off on a boat or in a cave. I just take it off and throw it in the bucket. It's not worrying about it. It's waterproof. I can use it for anything I can think of. You know, you get 2 of them in the pack. You could use just one if you want. You could buy 70 of them if you wanted to. You can do whatever you can imagine that you can do with a heated puck. So it's not just for diving. Now, don't get me wrong. I wouldn't buy 600 Australian dollar or $5.99, I think they are, Australian dollar heaters just to warm my hands, but I own these now for diving. I'll literally, if I'm going for a walk, it's going to be cold, I can just stick them in my pockets and hold on to them. Like, they're up to 60-degree heaters. You could use this kayaking, surfing, swimming, anything, skiing. Anytime you're cold and you want to heat something up to 60 degrees, that's what you could use it for. So I love that versatility of it. I love the fact that I don't have to worry about it, that it's not sensitive, that it's not easy to break. It's half the price of most waterproof vests that you can get. And, you know, there's no size. I don't have to worry about having one for me and one for my son and one for my daughter. You know, like, I don't really need it. I wear a dry suit. So where I do like it's actually in summer when I can control my temperature a bit better, like I said at the start. But my son, it's one size fits all, and it's as stretchy as anything. You know, I give it to my 11-year-old, bang, he uses it. As soon as he's not using it, bang, I grab it off him and I'm using it, and there's no needing to adjust anything even. Like, it's literally wrap it around you. And when I put it in my dry suit, I don't actually use the kidney belt anymore. What I like to do is just push it in between my undergarments, put it on the front. It's one thing I did find. I actually prefer my dry suit to have it on my front because, you know, that's the side that is the coldest. When you're on a dry suit, you know, the air's gone to the back, so you've got plenty of gap at the back, but it's pushing on the front. You've got less gap between you and the water, and your undergarments compress down. So I just like to put them between my undergarments and leave them right here on my chest, nice and warm, like little warm clouds. Whereas when you're using a wetsuit, you know, put it on the kidney belt. Just don't ever put it on your dry skin. I can't imagine that at 60 degrees that you're going to know about it if you leave it on your bare skin for an hour or two. So it's designed to be in the kidney belt. That's what the kidney belt's for. So just make sure you have at least something as thick as the kidney belt between the heater and your bare skin, because it is 60 degrees on high. So, you know, if anything you can think of that you could use 1 or 2 heated pucks for, then you can use it. Then, as far as having to worry about it or maintain it, there is nothing. Give it a quick rinse, shove it on the wireless charger. This is all you need to carry around when you travel. Excellent. The controller, again, completely sealed, no buttons, nowhere to charge it. It's a wirelessly charged and operates via magnet. It's a magnetic switch. It is so hardy that I can tell you that I have definitely tested this out, because what happened was my son had used it. I went to do another dive and the conditions were particularly rough at the next site we were going to. It was a cliff face and it was just too rough for him to dive. Thankfully, he even said he didn't want to dive, which, you know, normally I actually have to try and convince him that he isn't as good as he thinks he is and tell him not to dive. But it wasn't diveable for him, so I was still going to go for a dive, and it was considerably rough. So I was actually literally standing on the edge of a cliff, timing it when the wave came in, stepping off into the ocean, putting my fins on in the ocean, and when I came back I had to throw things up, timed when the wave would go up, I'd throw things up onto the cliff, and then time the wave to then basically catch the wave up to the top of the cliff and then hold on and then try and climb over before the next swell came. That's how rough it was. And because I was in a hurry and he'd been using it and I went to adjust it, what it turned out to be was when I went to put it on, I missed the loop on the actual controller, and it would have been stuck. I had gloves on, so when I've gone around, it's actually stuck to my glove strap, not actually tied off the controller. So when I've jumped in, it's fallen off. And about 10 minutes into the dive, I had it on medium power and I was pretty warm, so I thought, I'll turn it down, I'll save some battery. Went to turn it down and it wasn't there. And I spent 15 minutes looking for it, had no idea where I'd lost it. You're talking about a site with lots of kelp, lots of water movement, don't know where I've dropped it. I mean, I suspect it's somewhere around when I got in, but could not find it. That night, I go to the website thinking, oh God, do I have to buy a whole new thing? Turns out you can buy spares. You get like spares for everything. So again, another great thing. If you lose something or break something, you can buy a spare. So I sent an email going, do you have any of these in stock? Can I order one? Chris emails me back that night going, oh, how'd you lose it? And yeah, not a problem. I told him and then said, don't worry, send it in a few days. Send me a bill and I'll send it in a few days because I'm away. Next day, 24 hours later, I wasn't planning to, but I went back to the same site and it still rough and just me again. I jump in. I just thought, look, I'll have another look. To be honest, I don't even know. I thought I'll just have another look. I started moving kelp around and I moved this last bit of kelp and here it is, jammed into a crack in the cliff face. Now this has spent 24 hours getting pounded into a cliff and is jammed in a rock face. Not a mark on it. Dead flat, of course, but I just took it back, charged it, works perfectly. I wouldn't want to try and leave my Garmin there doing that. I don't think it would have survived it. But because this is a nice sealed, just plastic switch, worked perfectly fine. Got to email Chris and say, you won't believe it, I found it, and didn't need to get a new one. So, I've really tried these things out. I really like it. Works as advertised. I spoke to him then and said I was going to make this video because I liked his products and he's offered you a 10% discount. I'll put the discount code in the description in case it gets changed at any point in the future. You'll need to go to his website. I'll put his website in there, Wettie Warmaz, and then use that code at the checkout. It saves you a few dollars. Like I said, currently the dive version's $5.99 Australian dollars, which is about 400 US dollars. Worth every cent. Highly recommend them. I found no issues whatsoever. Just love the versatility. Love how easy they are to look after. So I hope that, something that you're interested in or it helps at all. Like I said, this channel is just something I do for fun. It's not something that I make a living out of. It just gives me an excuse to go diving. These I bought for myself and I like the idea of promoting a guy who's come up with such a good idea, lives in a coastal town in Australia, just a bloke who's come up with an idea, worked out how to manufacture it and out there, selling this great idea. It's not some massive corporation that's come up with this. I mean, I'd love to think that I could sit in my shed, come up with a brilliant idea, get it manufactured and then get out there and promote it. Like in 2025, I just think that part of this story is really, really good. Have a look at his site, Wettie Warmaz, and, all I can say is I really like the product that he's come up with. So until next time, don't forget to keep blowing bubbles and never forget, the deeper you go, the further you get away from all those idiots.